Hello! So here's kind of the latest thing I'm working on in Stencil. Stencil has just added or recently added, since I've last looked at it, a feature that lets you kind of mess around a lot more with the tiles at the runtime. So, yay, procedural generation! Previously, when I tried to do this, I was using lots of separate objects, which meant it just wouldn't run. So the frame rate's a bit low at the moment because I'm having to preview this in Flash. I was kind of intending it as a large EXE game, but we'll see how it goes. So at the moment we've got kind of a lander type feel to this spaceship. You turn it left and right with the left and right keys. Up and down keys aim your actual weapon. And then we've got A, which is like a boost or a jump. S makes that little yellow thing go flashy, which is indicating that your drill is on. Obviously there's no graphic for it yet. Then we can plow through things, and the drill also doubles as a melee weapon, so we can go and kill things with it. And then D is to fire your gun. And I've made a couple of guns. We've got the flamethrower activated at the moment because it's most fun. The flamethrower is actually affected by gravity. I don't know if that makes sense, but it means that it doesn't quite go up as much as it should do. And at the moment the drill only goes forwards and down, so I thought that would maybe be an interesting limitation. I can make it go up as well, but we'll see. So yeah, as you can see, you get a series of tunnels that are generated from the top. The rest is filled in. These things can hurt me at the moment, but I've got my health set to a stupidly high amount just so I can explore the levels it's generating. And when you write something to generate levels, you do spend a lot of time, waste a lot of time just bumbling around in them. So yeah, we seem to have a tunnel that goes all the way down here. Let's see if it goes all the way to the bottom of the level. Those guys are throwing little white things at me, which are supposed to be rocks. The enemies at the moment, I haven't really thought about the spec for each of them. That kind of depend on the design and what the different planets are supposed to be like. But they'll probably clone some Spelunky enemies, have a jumper, one that drops down on you, blah blah blah. And oh look, we're at the bottom. Okay. There's nothing to actually mine out yet, which means that there's not really any sort of way of winning. So the next step is going to be to put some more sort of ores in there that can be mined out and collected. Now that's probably too much screen shake. Oh. And I think I need to set this up so it generates more tunnels, because I don't know if there's enough there. But let's go and have a little look around, see what we can find. It could be hard to tell, what's been generated elsewhere, and because I'm working with Stencil, I don't have a way of printing out a map of my entire level each time it's generated, which is a shame. I might be able to do something like that, but I don't know. Haven't looked into things like mini-maps yet. Let's see if there's any more surface tunnels that have been generated. Oh look. One just below the surface. So I've set up so there's always at least one that generates on the surface. So there's a kind of code loop that makes X amount of tunnels. I think at the moment it's set to make about 15 tunnels or so. And the first one of them will always be at the surface, and then the other ones, there's a random chance that they will continue from the last tunnel that was made, so you've got a much longer tunnel. Or they might just start randomly, halfway down the level. So here we seem to have a branch. Ooh, yep, there's a much more interesting network of tunnels over this side of the level. Does this go all the way back up? Oh, little guy hit me with a rock. Those rocks are a bit overpowered at the moment. And at the moment, one of the features is that when you're shooting, your sideways orientation is locked. I feel it makes it a little bit easier to control the combat, but I'm not sure yet, and that might be something that changes later. but it does make it feel a bit more like a kind of traditional shmup once that's locked and you can just drift up and down. Another thing, you'll notice that that crappy crosshair and the drill disappear for a split second as you're turning. So as you're turning, you won't be able to fire, and that gives it scope for, you know, different types of ships, different ships that feel differently, handle, you know, heavier because of the turning speed later on. And oh look, there's our big grey wall that signals the edge of the level. Oh, and hit with one of those massively overpowered rocks that somehow manages to knock a spaceship back, you know, 10 meters. These little pink guys at the moment, they're markers for kind of my person-sized characters. That's how big I imagine a person being in this game. Because the kind of story world idea I'm working with is you know, space corporations, and so essentially you're the bad guy, and these would be kind of little Ewok type characters that are trying to stop you from destroying their planets in a kind of Avatar style-y. And that's a dead end as well. So yeah, they're a bit featureless, these planets, but I'm quite happy with how the tunnels are turning out, and I'm not sure if that screen shake is going to give anyone seizures or something, but it feels quite nice, satisfying digging when it's on. I initially had it as sort of one button press to dig, but actually having a kind of drill that's activated and then stays on. Actually, I need to put that orientation lock on when you're drilling, because at the moment you can spin around with the drill on and it's... Oh, and we've got some sort of square cave. Probably needs a bit more randomness to when it's generating these caves at the end of tunnels. And I guess that's all I have to show you. So, go away.